Henry was born in Le Mans, France on March 5, 1133, to Count Geoffrey of Anjou and Empress Matilda. He was the first king of the House of Plantagenet, which would rule England until 1485. Henry became Duke of Normandy in 1150 when his father died, and succeeded to the throne of England in 1154 after the death of King Stephen. He was crowned at Westminster Abbey on December 19, 1154, and became known as Henry II of England. Henry was married to Eleanor of Aquitaine, 11 years his senior, and third cousin, who had previously been married to King Louis VII of France. Eleanor was a powerful and influential queen, and her marriage to Henry united two of the most powerful territories in Europe. Henry and Eleanor had 8 children, including Richard the Lionheart and King John. Henry was known for his strong attachment to his sons, and his relationship with them would be a source of both strength and conflict throughout his reign. Henry was known for his administrative reforms, including the establishment of a system of royal courts that would become the basis for English common law. He also reformed the coinage, introduced a system of taxation, and established a royal council to advise him on matters of state. He also reformed the church, including appointing Thomas Becket as Archbishop of Canterbury in 1162. Becket was a close friend and advisor to Henry, but the two became enemies over the issue of the church's independence from royal authority. Becket and Henry became enemies, and Becket was murdered in 1170, after a rash comment by Henry. 4 of his knights murdered Becket, who believed they were acting on Henry's orders. Henry was deeply affected by Becket's death and did penance at Becket's tomb in Canterbury. In 1171, Henry invaded Ireland and established English rule there. This marked the beginning of English domination over Ireland, which would last for centuries. He also fought a series of wars with France during his reign, and after many battles and treaties, no lasting peace was established. Henry's reign was marked by frequent rebellions, including those led by his sons Henry the Young King, Richard, and Geoffrey. These rebellions were often motivated by a desire for power and control, and strained Henry's relationships with his family. Henry had a complicated relationship with his wife Eleanor, and she was imprisoned for supporting their son's rebellion in 1173 to 1174. This was one of several periods of tension between Henry and Eleanor, and their relationship was marked by both affection and conflict. Henry was also known for his mistresses, including Rosamund Clifford, who died under mysterious circumstances. These relationships were common among medieval monarchs, but also contributed to Henry's reputation as a libertine and womanizer. Henry's reign saw the growth of the common law, the development of the jury system, and the expansion of royal authority. He was instrumental in establishing the legal framework that would become the basis for the English legal system. In 1189, Henry was succeeded by his son Richard the Lionheart, who had rebelled against him several times. Richard would go on to become one of England's most famous and celebrated kings, but his reign was also marked by conflict and instability. Henry's death at 56 was a result of a combination of factors, including exhaustion, illness, and the stress of his ongoing conflicts with his sons. His body was transported to Fontevraud Abbey, where he was buried next to his wife, Eleanor of Aquitaine, and later, his son, Richard the Lionheart. Henry's legacy was significant, and his impact on English history cannot be overstated. He was a powerful and effective ruler who oversaw important administrative and legal reforms that shaped the course of English history. An effective empire builder, he laid the seeds for England becoming a global power later. His reign was marked by conflict and tension, particularly with his family members. His relationships with his sons were particularly fraught, and his mistresses and marital problems also contributed to the instability of his reign. Despite these challenges, Henry's reign laid the foundation for the development of the English legal and administrative systems, and his patronage of the arts helped to establish England as a centre of culture and sophistication. Henry's reign also marked an important turning point in the history of Europe, as the power of the feudal aristocracy began to wane and the power of the centralized state began to grow. His innovations in government and administration would influence English history for centuries to come, and his legacy continues to be felt to this day.